We can see the power of military technology on full display in Ukraine with the arrival of the 105mm self-propelled M1128 Stryker guns that the United States sent over in their latest aid package. As soon as the Stryker was in the hands of the military, it immediately gained fame and recognition. It happened in the eastern portion of the country in the Bakhmut region, between the villages of Opatny and Ivangrad, where the enemy was trying to launch an offensive. Most of the Allied troops at the time had abandoned their position in advance at the captain's command. However, a small detachment stayed behind, including infantry, a large-caliber howitzer, and one M1128 vehicle. To everyone's surprise, the enemy suddenly went on the attack, but they didn't know there was a Stryker. Working in tandem with the howitzer, the vehicle dealt with the attackers with incredible accuracy, pummeling them with 40-pound shells. With its 1-mile attack range at high speed for quickly changing positions, the Stryker was able to assault the enemy from a variety of unexpected angles. Once the howitzer covering the Stryker was destroyed, the lone vehicle went on the offensive, driving the enemy further and further away, right up to the moment when a rescue team arrived for their surviving soldiers.
They could take a beating and just keep going, and that's one of the biggest things I like.
It serves as a great example of how a seemingly simple infantry combat vehicle can independently ruin an enemy's plans while amassing a formidable reputation. I think it'd be interesting to learn more about this legendary weapon in more detail. The M1128 is an armored fighting vehicle designed to provide fire support for infantry, as well as for destroying bunkers, light armored vehicles, and fortified enemy positions. One of the key features of the Stryker is its speed. It can reach nearly 63 miles per hour on the highway. It also has a fuel capacity of 57 gallons, enough to drive 330 miles on a single tank. As a bonus, the Stryker is also fairly quiet, even at full speed.
The Stryker, as proven in combat, is a very quiet vehicle.
Its armament includes a mounted 105mm rifled tank gun with a muzzle brake. The Steel Beauty can even damage modern tanks, something that 90% of its competitors can't do. This all sounds amazing, but what's even cooler is that the gun has an autoloader and enough ammo for 18 shots.
It's a little different feel. Has a more kickback.
Of course, given the limited supply of shells, it'd be blasphemy to waste them on light targets. So the vehicle also has a matching 7.63mm M2 anti-aircraft machine gun with 400 rounds, plus an additional 12mm cannon installed on the turret. The Stryker's hull is made of steel armor plates reinforced with ceramic, effectively protecting the vehicle from machine gun fire and shrapnel. But of course, such protection isn't enough, so an additional STAT armor protection kit's available. It consists of a unique lattice screen placed 15 inches from the vehicle's body, protecting it from RPGs and tank strikes.
Several months later, I was in a Stryker. The Stryker in front of me took 2 artillery rounds that were cemented in the sidewalk.
The Stryker's advantage is that it's a relatively light and mobile weapon with some anti-tank capabilities. High mobility, good firepower, and sufficient protection. What more could you ask for? There are rumors that there's a super upgraded version of the Stryker. If the machine we just described is capable of its power, then what would a newer version have to improve its stats? A laser? A microwave weapon? Something that hypnotizes the enemy? More on that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. The only thing the current version can't do is swim underwater. But wait a minute, even a vehicle with that capability will soon be in the hands of the Ukrainian military. The amphibious combat vehicle is an 8-wheeled assault vehicle designed for the Marine Corps. The United States is famous for its Navy, but they've always had trouble getting their fighters to the shore. With the advent of this floating machine, the problem was solved. Now a combat operation can be carried out on the coast without having to sail all the way to the shore. Troops can simply be sent inside the steel amphibian, which will deliver the fighters where they need to be at a speed of 6 knots.
You can use that to put troops in at the decisive time on the enemy's flank.
In addition, the vehicle offers 3 times the protection of conventional armored personnel carriers thanks to its unusual layout, where personnel are positioned much lower than usual and covered with large sheets of armor. Its engine's also surprisingly powerful, surpassing even that of the Stryker. But through some nuances in the gear ratios in the gearbox, its speed and range are identical to the Stryker. At the same time, it can only travel 78 miles through the water due to its design features.
He's able to conduct the amphibious assault with an added surprise.
The total lack of weaponry is discouraging, but for these purposes, there's another vehicle that's already become a veteran of modern warfare. The M2A3 Bradley is an armored fighting vehicle created in the 1970s based on the Bradley tracked platform. It was developed according to the lessons learned with the Soviet BMP-1, the design features of the German Marder, and is a more secure and armed alternative to the existing M113 armored personnel carriers.
Very easy to maintain. It's a wheeled vehicle, so it's a lot cheaper to operate.
The M2A3 crew consists of 3 people and can carry up to 6 infantrymen. The vehicle's only half as fast as the previously mentioned Stryker or amphibian, only reaching 44 miles per hour. However, it's also only half the size, making it stealthier. Although the Bradley doesn't have the same power as the Stryker, it's still capable of shooting down a helicopter. It's done so several times, even though that's not what it was designed for. It's equipped with a 25mm cannon capable of destroying most fortified positions, knocking out passing vehicles, and easily wiping out infantry.
It's a very strong vehicle, very fast if it needs to be. It's also all-terrain track vehicle.
For lighter targets, it has 2 7.62 caliber machine guns, and for protection in an emergency, a smoke grenade launcher system. The result is a rather nimble vehicle capable of supporting infantry and tanks in battle. Admittedly, as a means of defense, the M2A3 can only be used in calmer areas. Something more serious is needed for transporting fighters in active combat zones. The CV-90 MKIV is Sweden's latest armored vehicle, having begun production in the early 90s. Due to its excellent combat qualities, the platform has undergone numerous improvements. Today, 1,300 units in various versions have been produced, and they're used in the armies of many countries, including Sweden, the Czech Republic, and now Ukraine too. The CV-90 MKIV has a powerful Scania engine with an incredible 1,000 horsepower and a new suspension system that's increased its carrying capacity by 2 tons, thus improving its defensive and offensive performance.
We have a great interest in the system with our current CV-90 users. So hopefully something will emerge out of that cooperation that we have.
In addition, the MKIV has been equipped with a new generation of electronics capable of transmitting data from battlefield control systems in real time. The vehicle's also quite agile at just 45 miles per hour on the highway, accelerating to 22 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds. But the CV-90 isn't exactly what you'd call maneuverable. Its 36-ton weight certainly makes itself felt. The vehicle's real strength lies in its firepower. On the one hand, we have a 50mm version of the Bushmaster autocannon capable of continuous fire without reloading. On the other hand, a manned turret equipped with a double-spike LR launcher that can fire 2 armor-piercing salvos at once with laser-guided missiles. This means that it's possible to simultaneously attack tanks and shoot down helicopters. Talk about a fantasy.
That we can work together, both the vehicles and the infantry.
But the real fantasy actually begins when we start talking about the latest generation of armored fighting vehicles that the United States is already testing. Rumor has it that there's a brand new version of Stryker, whose capabilities simply blow the roof off. Although the armor's the same, the vehicle has been strengthened by the team at Lockheed Martin, who got down to business and created a powerful mobile laser system for it. LAWS is an extremely accurate weapon capable of shooting down any aircraft in a matter of seconds, as well as protecting infantry from falling shells and missiles. It was designed to remove the large 105mm cannon to increase speed. The laser's also capable of disabling electronics and heating up ammunition. It turns out that to defeat the enemy, all you have to do is direct the beam towards them for a couple of seconds. At best, this will fry the tank's wiring, making it nothing more than a tin can. But at worst, its ammunition detonates, tearing the vehicle apart in the process. BAE Systems got involved and built a remote control system with advanced artificial intelligence into the Stryker. Now soldiers don't have to risk their lives in combat. The robot will handle everything on its own. An unmanned Stryker can go on missions alone, picking up Allied infantry as it engages the adversary. This is it, the future of armed vehicles.
The main concern is that we protect our command posts where we get all the information.
And with that, our videos come to an end. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and a comment about what you'd like to see on our channel next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.